Good afternoon, everybody. It's Linda with Your Day, Your Way. And as promised, I am here today just to hopefully give you some tips and some thoughts on how to deal with postponements and cancellations of your upcoming weddings. First and foremost, we want to say we are with you, we feel for you, and we're going to get through this. The wedding community has been a huge support system for everybody. We're all working together. We're passing ideas around. We're helping the couples. So take a deep breath. We're going to get through this. And hopefully, I have a few tips for you today, and hopefully we can help you through some questions you may have. I had a couple questions come up. I'm going to be reading some notes. So if you see me going side to side, that's why. I want to thank Megan and Keith Hitlin. They gave us some great advice to couples, as well as Vanessa from All Occasions Photography. And I'm sorry, Keith and Megan are from Hitlin Photography. They were a great help. We also talked to Phil Brown at Century House and the girls over at Birch Hill. So I'm going to dive in here and say, if you have to postpone or cancel, there's just at this point, that's your only option. Whether you're getting married in April, May, or maybe June, you're being asked by your venue or your personal gut is telling you to do so. Please go in this as flexible as possible, not only with your date, but with your vendors in mind. They're getting a lot of phone calls, they're getting a lot of changes. Everybody is trying to give their couples the best that they can. They're trying to keep you as close to your date and time frame as possible, but there's a lot of changes going on for everyone. So please be flexible. You might have to take a Friday date. And before I go into the steps maybe that you should be taking when having to cancel or change your date, one suggestion that was made to me, and I thought about it and wasn't sure if I was going to post about it, is there's a lot of brides that have come to us and said, hey, I have all my stuff with my date on it. I'm getting married May 20th. I've got all my stuff. It's printed. What am I going to do if I get married next year? It might not seem like a big thing to some people, but to other couples it is huge. So our suggestion to them, and I think it's actually not a bad idea, is we're hoping that by the end of May, early June, this is behind us. And if that's the case, and if this is a possibility for any of you couples out there right now, if the date is really important, whether it be a special anniversary, or maybe you wanted to do it now because there's somebody in your family you're not sure is going to be around later, think about the possibility of having a small ceremony either in your home for just the parents and grandparents, your small group of 10 with a nice dinner. If you are allowed at that point to maybe go to the Justice of the Peace and have a small ceremony so that you have your date, if it's that important to you to have that specific date and to be married this year. There are some military couples who want to get married in case they get deployed and things like that. So that might be a possibility to at least get that done. And then you can go on, postpone the wedding for later in the summer or even next year. Maybe you'll get married, have your wedding May 19th, 2021 or May 21st, 2021. So you're still in that same time and you can celebrate with everybody that's really close to you. And you can still use your things that you printed because you were married on that day. That is just a small little thing that we're saying, hey, if the date's important and you really want to do it as planned, think about that as an option. Not everybody's going to want that option, but it's an option. Moving forward, like I said, if you must postpone to later this year or cancel altogether to go into next year, the first thing you need to do is contact your ceremony location, because if it's separate from your venue. whether it be a church or you're getting married at a venue because you like their location for ceremony, that's the first thing you want to do is check your ceremony location. Get at least 3 dates from them as to when you can postpone it. Excuse me. Get those dates written down and let them know you'll get back to them hopefully within the week. A lot of places can't hold dates, but hopefully you can get them to give you a week to figure out when everybody else is available. Excuse me. The next thing you want to do is get with your venue and see what dates they have for you and try to match the date with your ceremony location. Again, if it's at a church or something, and see if you can get a common ground there. You got to start getting your dates down. So get those in line. Sorry, lost my train of thought for a second. First is your ceremony location, and then you want to check with your venue and see if your venue has those same dates available. Once you've got those two on the right track, you're going to want to go get your list of vendors written down. Name, phone number. You're going to want to call. It's going to be quicker, hopefully, than emailing. But you might also want to do a backup email, like email them first. And that way you have it in writing and you know who you spoke to and you have a correspondence going and there's no miscommunication. Document everything, who you talk to, when you talk to them, and get it down, written down. And then, again, find out from them. Are you available on any one of these 3 dates? You want to keep your same vendors, I'm sure. You pick them for a reason. And they want to work with you as well. So get the dates and get it consistent. Fingers crossed, prayers to you that everybody's available on the same day and that you can just get that date knocked off and start planning for that new day. Unfortunately, that may not happen, and you're going to have to make that decision what you're going to do with that vendor that might not be available. If you get in that predicament, and we really hope you don't, because I can tell you all the vendors out there, the photographers, the DJs, the videographers, photo booths, all of them, they're trying really hard to give you a date that you want. Ask them, I hate to do this, you're not available on my date, but can you recommend somebody for me? And they will. They are going to work with you. So it's really important. You want to try to keep all your vendors. So like I said, be flexible. Get 3 dates and present those 3 dates to your venue and then to your vendors. You're going to have a lot of out-of-town guests. And that's something else you're going to want to start talking to your guests about that too. Once you have those dates and you know what date, or maybe you're lucky enough to have 2 dates to choose from, I would get with your immediate family that you can contact quickly via social media, email or phone, and say, hey, we're looking at pushing the date back. And this is mainly for your people who are out of town. Do you think you're still going to be able to attend if we have it on such and such a date? That's going to help you as well get a handle on your catering needs and things like that, because your guest count may definitely change. A lot of people might not want to travel, or they may have to change their travel plans because they're driving instead of flying. There's a lot of little details involved in that. If this is a piece of advice that was given to us from Megan and Keith Hitlin, and I'm going to read it word for word. So trying to keep that group of vendors together will not only help you with peace of mind knowing you still have your top choices, but it helps those vendors stay employed and not losing jobs. So again, it's really important, and it's funny because Vanessa said pretty much the same thing in her email to me. So everybody's on the same page. They want to work with you as much now as they did before. So those are your 3 steps. You want to make the decision that you're going to postpone it till later this year or till next year. That's the first thing that you and your fiance need to do. Then once you do that, you need to go in this with a clear, flexible mind that you're going to have to be flexible. Get 3 dates from your ceremony location. If you're lucky enough for your ceremony and your reception to be at the same spot, then you just have that 1 phone call to make. But ceremony first, get 3 dates, whether they be this year or next year. You have to work with what they tell you. Take those dates and then contact your venue. Again, give them the 3 dates that was given to you from your ceremony location, match them up. Hopefully you're lucky enough to have 2 options. And then from there, go to your vendor list. You want to get with your photographer, then your DJ, caterer if it's an outside caterer, your main vendors. You may have outside vendors like food trucks and things like that. You're going to want to contact every single one of them, no matter how small of a venue or part of their wedding that you think they are. And then once you get all that done and you have a date secured in your mind and you know that's right, you definitely want to contact those out-of-town guests to see if they're still going to be able to come. I put them last only because your vendors are going to be harder to match the date together. But letting your guests know as soon as possible that you've changed your date is very important. They're going to need to make plans, make changes themselves. So those are the important things that you need to know as far as what to do now. If you have things that are printed, you've got them printed, don't let them go to waste, okay? Everybody knows that you had a date in mind. That date was special to you, as I said. If you want to do a ceremony in your home, check with your officiant, see if it's somebody that can come to your home and do the wedding, or go to the Justice of the Peace once we're allowed to get back out there. And maybe even check with your photographer too, and say, hey, we're gonna, we're still keeping you for our big event, but we're gonna do a small ceremony now so we can keep our date, because it's important to us via family or whatever, and see if they can come as well. Again, there's options. You have to think clearly, and we know this is difficult, and it's hard for every single person involved, trust me. What I also wanted to let you know too is if you're getting married in 2021, and you might think you have plenty of time, and maybe you're getting married in 2022, I'm going to tell you right now, start planning. Put your planning in full gear, because a lot of the 2020 brides between April and June, if they can't get a date this year, are booking for next year. So if you haven't booked anything and you are a bride for next year or even 2022, we definitely recommend that you do get on the ball and start booking your vendors, your venue, and all of that, because it's a first come, first serve, obviously. If you haven't enlisted in a wedding planner, whether you've already started your planning or you're midway or you haven't planned at all, I highly recommend it with all of the changes going on and all of the, I hate to call it chaos, but all the chaos going on right now. A wedding planner can definitely help you and guide you in the right direction. So we hope that these tips are great. We're going to post, if not today, tomorrow, we have a full list of different ideas and things that you can do when dealing with postponements and cancellations. These are just the top 3 things that we feel are very important that you do, and they're obviously the most critical is getting that date changed. And again, just stay calm, take a deep breath. At the end, you are marrying your best friend, and it's going to happen. There's just going to be a few changes. I can tell you out there, the wedding community in the Capital District area is amazing, and they have hearts of gold, and they're going to try to work with you the best that they can. So I want to thank Keith and Megan Hitlin from Hitlin Photography, Vanessa from All Occasions, Phil from the Century House, and the girls over at Birch for their input, and pretty much they all said the same thing in their own words. And it was great to be able to talk to them. And for all the other vendors out there, Ambiance Florals has been great as well, working with changes and giving advice. So if you have any questions, or maybe you're not sure, on something that's come up through a vendor, they've asked a question or posed something and you just need some advice, please feel free to reach out to us here on Facebook. All of our contact information is on our homepage, and we'd be glad to help you and assist you through anything like that. And also, if you don't have insurance, we talked about wedding insurance before. If you don't have it, we've been in touch with a couple different insurance companies, and their policies are changing literally like every day because of the changes going on with the virus and how long it is and what the government's closing down and allowing. In most cases, if you've had insurance prior to all of this, you are in a better place than somebody who's going to go get bridal insurance now for a wedding this year. But some of them are covering lost deposits and things like that, if that happens to be the case. So with that being said, if you are getting married and you haven't booked everything yet, whether it be for the end of this year or next year, definitely look into getting some insurance. It can help across the board, not just with this quarantine we're going through right now, but it can help with a lot of other things in your wedding. And something just popped up as a reminder. Your honeymoon. Can't forget that. So yeah, don't forget, after you deal with the ceremony and the reception and all of your vendors and your guests, make sure you contact your honeymoon. If you've already booked that, contact whoever you booked your honeymoon through and make sure that you can get those dates changed. That should actually be pretty easy with all of the restrictions we have going on right now, but you do need to check on that. We hope this information was helpful. We know it seems like logical information, but there's just so much going on right now. We just wanted to let you know those are the first 3 steps that you need to take in rescheduling your wedding. And as always, we wish you well, stay safe, follow the guidelines so that we can move on and get back to business. And as always, we are here for you if you need anything. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and we hope to hear from you soon. Bye.